Hi Brad, my name is Megan McCracken, and in this video I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks of some things that you can do to improve your online presence and be able to have your business seen by more people. So I'll be going over a few things mostly related to like your website and being able to perform better on Google. So we'll be talking about content, backlinks, and then Google Maps listings and citations. So I'll kind of just hop into it. But before I do, as far as why I make these videos, I just like to provide business owners with something of value, so even if you decide not to discuss further, this can still be something that can benefit you and your business if you're able to implement any of these. However, some business owners have still come back to me and said, well, Megan, I like you, so please just implement this for me. So if that's something you want to chat more about, we definitely can. But otherwise, I hope that this video can be beneficial for you. So now I will hop into it. So for starters, we're going to be talking about the content. So as far as content goes, first of all, as a rule of thumb, Google likes to see about 1,500 words on the homepage, and your homepage has just over 1,000. So you're actually really close. Honestly, if you could be adding more, but even including having, more relevant keywords. So with those keywords, you can see how, like, what keywords you're ranking for, if any, meaning what search terms and stuff like that on websites like Ahrefs, which is what I use, or there's SEMrush and SpyFu that are a little bit cheaper. But so if we look here, we can see how you're ranking for certain searches. So like commercial roofing Utah, you're not getting any traffic. These are searches just from today. Provo roofing, and then like Leaf Guard Utah. So you're pretty high up there. So that just means that you would want to be having those search terms throughout listed throughout your website. You can even save photos onto your website with certain keywords. And then if we can actually look at one of your competitors. This is Legacy Roofing. You've probably heard about them. And obviously they're on a larger scale, because they're all over, but they're still um a good footprint to use, even if you're not able to scale it to the exact same that they are just because of how big they are. But they're a good example of where we can see what types of keywords they have so that you can kind of start to do the same thing on your website. So this is where they're ranking. They're in the top 10 slots for a lot of things, including obviously their own company name, but also roofing, Ogden, Utah. Bountiful Roofer, obviously with Bountiful being so close to Woods Cross, I wanted to point that out. So like Bountiful Roofer already has 60 searches today, and they're in the fourth slot. They're not even the first, but they've already gotten 7 people today. So that's probably very likely, even if only 3 or 4 of those ask for their business, 3 or 4 just today. So then there's like Ogden Roofing Contractor that they're getting traffic for things even in places where they're in like the top 10 slot. They're not even in number one. So for you, this is definitely something that you'd want to start looking at. Another big competitor in Utah is roofingutah.com. So they're another good example of where you can see what types of keywords you might want to start having as you write content out for your website. Make sure you're not using AI because Google really hates that. Um, but as you write content for your website, you can kind of just be matching the same energy as these competitors so that you can have these keywords throughout. But if you look at, again, this is so much traffic that these guys are getting on a daily basis because their website has so much of these keywords listed throughout it. And then they have, multiple sub pages, which you have as well. They also have like a blog to show that their website is still active to Google and stuff like that. So that would definitely be a huge recommendation that I would have. And then the next thing is going to be the backlinks. So backlinks are the popularity contest of Google. So that's where people or other websites are linking back to your website saying, hey, these guys are the roofing experts. You should listen to them. You should go to them. So here's their website. And Google really likes to see, relevant websites linking back to you. Google's going to care a lot more about like a home construction website linking back to you than like a fashion website. Some business owners will chase after as many backlinks as they can, but Google honestly isn't going to care about a lot of those. So it's quality over quantity. You still want to have a lot, but you don't want to just be chasing any old backlink. So as an example, Roofing Utah, I mean, obviously they're doing really well with their content, but as far as backlinks go, like they only have about 20 to 25 because these zeros backlinks don't matter to Google. So they only have about 20 to 25 websites linking back to them. And as a rule of thumb, you might want to like double that. So you want to have like 40 to 50. So you can be chasing the exact same links that they have and then some of your own. And then that will put you in a really good position to just being able to start to rank as well, as long as you're matching it up with improving the content of your website too. And there's things like link juice and stuff like that that can help you get those links. So that is the second thing. And then the very last thing is Google Maps listings and citations. So that means that for things like roofing company Bountiful, you would be showing up in these top 3 slots. Now, I did want to do a good call out for you for Woods Cross specifically. You're actually doing really well there, because I did notice that you're showing up here. I also wanted to point out, it looks like you have 2 business profiles set up, so I just wanted to let you know about that. Let's see. Yeah, so you have 2. So if you just wanted to get that cleaned up and remove one or merge them or what have you, then that will, I assume it's this one that you'd want to clean up since this one has more reviews. But anyway, so for Woods Cross, you're doing really well. But if you want to be able to expand, the reason why I did Bountiful is again just because of how close it is. And then if you also looked at like North Salt Lake and stuff like that, these top 3 slots are the money spots because most people aren't clicking on more businesses, right? So the way that you get into these top 3 slots is by having your business listed and cited across as many different places as possible. Now for Woods Cross, part of why you're doing well is because there's just less competition. It's less saturated for Woods Cross specifically, since it's a smaller area. But again, for places like Bountiful, North Salt Lake, surrounding areas, since I know that your website did mention surrounding areas as well, it's a little bit more saturated. So you want to compete by having those citations. And typically, I would use a thing called White Spark that would help you be able to see exactly what websites you are cited on. However, since you don't have an address on your Google Business profile, White Spark wasn't able to automatically pull you in. So if you wanted to have a website listed, it doesn't have to be your home address, it can be something else. That can actually also help you as well with those citations to help you move up here as well. And there's different ways that we can work around that if not obviously, but yeah, so I just wanted to call that out too as the last thing that you could be doing to try to get yourself in these top 3 slots. Again, for Woods Cross you're doing great, but if you want to be moving up in these other areas like Legacy shows up in the top 3 slots for multiple places across Utah because they have those citations, and they're also following it up with having really quality websites that are helping them to rank as well. So just wanted to point that out too. So that is the last thing. So just as a reminder, of a recap of what I went over content, making sure that you have relevant content across your website, backlinks, chasing after those websites that Google wants to see linking back to you, and then Google Maps listings so that you can improve yourself by showing the searches for your company in other places just outside of Woods Cross so that you can be getting business in those surrounding areas more. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to hop on a discovery call. My phone number is 385-315-7439. But if not, again, I hope this video had something insightful or helpful for you, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks, Brad.